The University of Sioux Falls students select housing for the 2012-2013 school year.
Class registration for the fall semester opens.
And the USF campus gets new sculptures.
All this and more coming up next on College Week.
Don't go away.
From the Jeske Fine Arts Center on the campus of the University of Sioux Falls, this is College Week. With Sarah Bettinger, Lindsay Elston, Crosstalk with Jaden Miller, and Sports with Sam Tastad.
Good morning, I'm Lindsay Elston.
And I'm Sarah Bettinger. Thanks for joining us.
Well, you know what, Sarah? We have a lot going on campus. You know, we're in this year, but we're already looking forward to next year. We had housing registration and class registration coming up, but lucky you.
Yeah, I'm all done with that stuff. I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. I'll probably get a job or something. So, I don't know, but it'll be fun. It's going to be good. It'll be hard leaving USF, but it's going to be good. And we got a lot of stuff left to take care of this year, some unfinished business.
Yes, West Side Story is going on right now. A lot of exciting things still happening this year and the present on campus.
I'm excited to see it. And the USF version of the production of West Side Story opened this past week. The production is set in the 1950s and 1960s of the Upper West Side ethnic blue-collar neighborhood in New York City. The characters in the play explore the rivalry between the Jets and the Sharks. There are still 2 more opportunities to see the show this weekend. There will be a performance this evening at 7:30 p.m. and tomorrow at 2 p.m. in the Meredith Auditorium in the Jeske Fine Arts Center. Tickets are $10 for adults, $7 for students, and $5 for children. For USF student and faculty, they're only $1. You can pick up your tickets at the door or call the box office at 605-331-6787.
As we heard last week, the University of Sioux Falls is in the process of renovating the Stewart Center. The total cost of the project will be about $400,000. The improvements to the Stewart Center faculty will help prepare the campus for its move into the Northern Sun Conference. The renovations will nearly double the seating capacity for the basketball games to 2,500. The building's lighting and locker rooms will also see an upgrade. Private donors are funding the project, and the school will pay out of its pocket to air condition the building. The changes are expected to be completed by mid-July.
It's that time of year again, the time where students find out where they will be living for the next year. For more on the story, here's College Week's Chantel Day.
Room draw is a process of placing students in housing for the next fall.
With the school year coming to a close, students on the University of Sioux Falls campus attended room draw. Christina Spade, resident director at USF, says how room draw is planned out and how the little details that go into it make it work so well.
A few weeks before room draw, we get a list of all the students currently living on campus with their class status, and then also honor students. We figure out who they are and where they fall into it. And when students arrive to room draw that evening, they'll find their name on a slip of paper, and that'll be placed in a hat according to what status they are class-wise and whether or not they're honor students. And then we'll start with a quadruple and triple room selection where students who are wanting to get into Collier Baker or into Sullivan three-person room, their names are pulled from a hat, and if your name is drawn, you will get to choose your room. And then we go on to the double room selection later, and we start with the senior honor students going to seniors, junior honor students, and so on.
Spade says that even with the students that didn't show up that night, the dispersing of the dorm rooms went smoothly.
It was pretty smooth. We anticipated a few students being gone, but the musical and the theater department were flexible in working with us and getting notes written from students who were caught up in that and couldn't leave, and it turned out to be a good night.
For College Week, I'm Chantel Day.
So Lindsay, where will you be living next year?
I'm actually going to be living in one of the newer upperclassmen dorms, Sullivan, with some of my best friends. So I'm really excited. Room draw was a crazy process, but it feels good to get it done. And with figuring out where we're living next year comes class registration. So students, registration for fall classes opened this past week. With more on how students feel about registering process, here's College Week's Hannah Olson.
With the end of the spring semester approaching, students not only have to start preparing for finals, but also get registered for classes next fall. Registration can be stressful, especially for underclassmen, as classes fill up. However, as students draw closer to their senior year, junior Kristen Killow says the process gets easier.
This coming year, it's not as near as stressful as it was freshman year. I remember I had to wake up at like 5:30, so I would be sure and get into my classes. But now that I'm older, like I can do it basically whenever I want to in that time frame they give you. So it's not nearly as big of an ordeal, and my advisor's really good. She's really helped me a lot with the whole Division II athletic academic thing and requirements for that.
Freshman David Morrell says he is looking forward to signing up for fall courses.
I am excited. I don't want to get overexcited and over-expectate on my classes. Last time for registration, I was really anxious, so I probably woke up at 4 in the morning and just waited 2 hours. I'll probably wake up as early, yes, just because I get anxious about things. I don't like being late. I just go for it.
With roughly 40 classes needed to accumulate the 128 credits to graduate, students have a lot of decisions to make when registering. USF's registrar, Anna Heckenleibel, says the preparation ahead of time makes the registration process much easier.
They notice that you get a few emails from me along the way. And the first thing students want to do when we publish the schedule is, of course, take a look at it, look it over themselves, see what they are thinking they want to do, and then make that appointment with their advisor to really sit down, get a plan. The advisor can clear them at that point, and they should walk out of there with a list of the classes they're going to take, the times, the sections, so when registration opens, they're good to go. And they should also, one thing that we really want students to do is check how many credits you've earned. Run that unofficial transcript on the LMS or on the My USF and see where you're at so you know what day you have to get up early and get registered.
To determine when registration opens based on your earned credits, go to the homepage on your My USF or go to the registrar's homepage on the USF website. For College Week, I'm Hannah Olson.
Coming up next, USF nursing students pass national and state averages.
Don't go away.
Academic excellence, inspired talent, Christian values, athletic champions. This is the University of Sioux Falls, proud to be with you the whole way.
According to statistics released by the South Dakota Board of Nursing, nursing graduate students at the University of Sioux Falls have beaten national and state averages in the licensing exam with a 95% pass rate. The national average is about 88%, and the average for the state is close to 89%. The University of Sioux Falls offers 3 different program options. The program is fairly new to USF, but the quality of the program has been excellent in its short time of being available. For more information about USF's nursing program, go to www.usiouxfalls.edu/nursing.
Next Monday, April 23rd, USF will present a Careers in Math lecture with Dr. Connie Furnell. Furnell is the director of Boston Fusion, a small employee-owned business that focuses on research and development for defense and intelligence applications. Furnell will speak at 7 p.m. in the Salisbury Science Center at USF. The lecture is free and open to the general public.
New sculptures recently arrived on campus as part of the USF Sculpture Walk. For more on the story, here's College Week's Jaden Miller.
The University of Sioux Falls has a different look to it this spring, since the familiar sculptures that were put in place last year have been replaced with new sculptures. Art professor Cisa Cooper says that the sculpture walk at USF is part of a larger network and that the sculptures are chosen from many places.
Well, the new sculptures that come in every year come from a pool of sculptures that's referred to as the Sculpture Walk Network, and we are now part of that network. So we can pull from other network associations, which are the Downtown Sioux Falls Sculpture Walk, Eau Claire, Wisconsin Sculpture Walk, Mankato, Minnesota Sculpture Walk, and Castlegar, British Columbia. So we're allowed to pull from any of those sculpture walks. So we start every fall, like in October, the committee gets together and looks at the pool that we can choose our 12 sculptures from. So that's where they come from.
Junior Elizabeth Olson is taking a sculpting class this semester and says that because of that, she has a better appreciation for the sculptures on campus.
You know, people that haven't sculpted or aren't aware of art, you just look at a sculpture and, you know, it's like, oh, how did it get that way? But sculpting this semester, I've really learned the thought that has to go into it and the amount of hours it takes to get that. And it's not just an image or a three-dimensional image. There's a meaning behind it. There's thought. There's a soul behind that painting or the sculpture.
The sculpture walk was dedicated in April of 2011 to First Lady Gail Benedetto as an expression of gratitude to her faithful service to USF. Although it has been here for a year, not all students are aware of it. Freshman Jacob Brenner says that he doesn't know the history behind the sculpture walk.
I don't really know how it started or why we have it, but I know that it's there, and I kind of, like last semester I went and played my guitar a lot on it because I kind of enjoyed the different art pieces.
Because there are a variety of sculptures on campus, it is likely that everyone can find one that they like. Cooper says that her favorite is one that brings some fun to the campus scenery.
My favorite sculpture, I think it's Splash, the one that's behind the McDonald's Center that everyone's been putting pants on. So, because it added a bit of humor to the campus, and it's a beautiful sculpture.
For USF College Week, I'm Jaden Miller.
USF Professor Kermit Staggers was recently re-elected to the Sioux Falls City Council. For more on the story, here's College Week's Eric Carlson.
University of Sioux Falls Professor of History and Political Science, Kermit Staggers, was recently elected to the Sioux Falls City Council. As a second-term councilman, Mr. Staggers sits down to talk with us about his recent victory.
Well, we had the election on April the 10th, and in the election I was running for Sioux Falls City Council at-large position, the only at-large position in this election, and I had two opponents, so there were three of us in the race, and I was very fortunate to get 50.4% of the vote.
And it's those votes, Mr. Staggers says, that will enable him to return to a consistent checks and balances type of method that he says he will use to improve the Sioux Falls community.
My expectation is to continue like I did when I was on the council for 8 years. I was a person that was always asking lots of questions of the department heads. And the reason for that is because in the reality of government, you have department heads and other administrative officials that sometimes really do not give you all the information. So what you have to do is you have to ask questions, you have to probe to really find out what's going on in city government. So I'll be continuing to do that.
Additionally, as a representative of the people of Sioux Falls, and after getting the answers to those necessary questions, Mr. Staggers says that he pledges not to follow the status quo.
And at the same time, I'm going to continue to be very critical of the legislation. In other words, if there is legislation that is, what I consider to be harmful for the city or the citizens, I'm going to be voting against it. In elected bodies, quite often there is this phenomenon known as just simply going along, saying yes, rubber stamping legislation. Now, I'm not criticizing the Sioux Falls City Council because it happens in Pierre, it happens across the country. I think it's important that if you're going to be a representative of the people, you're going to have the courage to sometimes say no, and when it's appropriate, also say yes to legislation.
For the University of Sioux Falls College Week, I'm Eric Carlson.
Coming up next, Jaden Miller sits down with Sam Doima on Crosstalk.
Don't go away.
For the past 10 years, College Week has been a staple in the USF community. Shot on campus in the Jeske Fine Arts Building, College Week allows students real-life experience in the world of news anchoring and to put their creative skills to use, with 4 editing bays, multiple cameras, and limitless talent. Each semester, new faces are chosen to anchor and be a part of the College Week team. I'm thankful for being able to be a part of College Week for the past 2 years. This is my first semester being an anchor. Being in College Week has taught me skills that I will use after graduation.
Hi,
Jess Salisbury. I'm an anchor, and this is College Week.
Good morning and welcome to USF Crosstalk. I'm Jaden Miller and I'm sitting down with Sam Doima, who is the Student Association President here at USF. Good morning, Sam. Thanks for being here today.
Morning, Jaden. Thanks for having me.
So we just had the elections for Student Senate, and this is going to be your second year as Student Senate President. So just tell us, why did you decide to run last year, and what do you think you bring to the table as President?
I've always kind of felt a call for leadership, and not so much politics, but I was a member of Student Senate for my freshman year, as well as my sophomore year. And I always felt like I had a great, I could relate to all different types of students. And the fact that you're the lone student representative on the Board of Trustees, that kind of always excited me. So I always felt like it was kind of a way to serve my fellow students and give back, as well as kind of being in that leadership role that I've always kind of excelled in.
Okay, so you mentioned the Board of Trustees. What exactly is that, and what does it mean to be a part of that?
The Board of Trustees is basically, and for lack of a better term, the owners of the school. They make all the big decisions. They're the people who donate most of the money. And I'm the student representative. I'm actually a full voting member of the board. And so I'm the student's voice on the board. So there's a faculty rep and there's also a student rep, but otherwise the rest are people who donate money and whatnot.
So what are some types of decisions that the Board of Trustees makes as far as concerning the school and the student body?
The Board of Trustees basically makes every decision. The president a lot of times has to run all of his decisions by the Board of Trustees, whether it involves tuition raises, new purchases, large renovations on campus, and that. So basically any big money issues must go through the Board of Trustees.
So as part of your job, you communicate between the students and President Benedetto. So just talk a little bit about what that communication is like, and just what it's like to get news of what's going on to all the students.
I feel like that's something we could definitely improve on this campus, and part of that's me, and I feel like part of that might be some of the president too. Like I said, as the student body president, my job is to take student concerns, opinions, different things, and hopefully pass them along to administration, and as well as the student senate. As the head of the student senate, we can put that money, we are given a budget, and we can put that back into the school, and hopefully everything we want to do benefits the students. So, like I said, as for working with the president, I feel like meeting with him on a regular basis might be something that we both can improve on, so therefore we can have a better line of communication between administration and the students, and then hopefully getting that stuff out on something like this, whether it's College Week or whether getting it into the vessel or something like that would be great.
So I know we talked earlier and you mentioned that you will actually be meeting with President Benedetto next week. What are some things that you hope to address when you talk with him?
I just looking forward to just talking to him about, like I said, just kind of maybe improving some lines of communication between us and the students, especially with some ongoing renovations that might be happening around campus. And like I said, the board meetings are coming up, and the president plays a huge role in that. And so just kind of maybe talking about what's going to be discussed there so I can be aware of what's going on.
Okay, that sounds great. So talking just about things that have happened this past year with Student Senate, and more specifically involving the students. I know there's been a lot of talk about the volleyball court that was supposed to go up on campus, and a lot of students I know are wondering why hasn't it happened. So just share with us what's going on with that right now.
Yeah, on behalf of the Student Senate, I'd like to apologize. We were hoping to get it done over spring break, but one of our builders fell through, and so right now we've just been having a really hard time finding a contractor. You just don't want to call someone up out of the blue. You don't want to get charged an arm and a leg, because honestly, we have a given budget. We want to spend it right. We want to get it done right, so we don't have to go back and fix it in the future. We want to have a decent, good sand volleyball court that can be used for the future. So right now, we're looking for a contractor. We have the full blessing of the administration and maintenance. So we hope to get it done in the next couple of weeks. So I know that sounds like everyone's like, I've heard it before, but like I said, we have the full blessing of the administration, so we're looking forward to getting it done soon.
So what are some other highlights of the past year that Student Senate has done?
Like I said, Student Senate ultimately wants to give back to the students. So we try to take needs and concerns. And so just some little things. We put a whole brand new TV in third floor Sullivan Lounge. TV in there was extremely outdated, big screen TV. We brought in a brand new 55-inch LCD, big screen. It's being used all the time, and that's exciting to see students in the lounge. I mean, that's kind of the culture for service, giving back and having that sense of community at USF. We also did a homecoming fireworks show. Augustana in the past has always done a fireworks show, and in our minds, everyone's like, why can't we do that? So Student Senate kind of took it upon ourselves to give back to the students, give back to our alumni, and it turned out great. We loved it, and I think all the students did too. I even heard from a coach, the best line I heard was, this was the classiest thing the Cougs ever done. And that was a pretty big compliment, I think, for the Student Senate. So we're looking forward to maybe doing it again next year, just being a little more timely on everything so we can get publicity out and people can truly enjoy it. So that was great too.
Yeah, that sounds great. I mean, I know I saw the fireworks show and I really enjoyed it. So just the last question here. What are you doing next year? I know you're a senior this year, so what's next year looking like for you?
I'll be the president once again, so looking forward to that. And I'm a bio major, so I'm hoping to kind of not coast through my senior year, but it's finally getting to the point where I'm enjoying it. So.
Okay, well, that sounds great. Thanks for joining us on USF Crosstalk. Next up is Sam Tastad with sports.
Academic excellence, inspired talent, Christian values, athletic champions. This is the University of Sioux Falls, proud to be with you the whole way.
Now we go to Sam Tastad with sports.
Thanks for joining us, Sam.
Thank you.
Sarah, I know you're probably pretty sad that Tebow is now gone from the Broncos. I know he was kind of your man, but
yeah, it was rough.
How excited are you, though, that they've picked up Peyton Manning?
I was just beyond excited. I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I can't wait to see him come out of the tunnel wearing orange for a change.
Should be pretty cool.
Definitely make some Super Bowl contenders.
Absolutely. What do you think it does for the Colts' draft plans?
They should draft a quarterback.
They have a couple options at the top of the draft.
Andrew Luck and Robert Griffin. The USF women's tennis teams fell short Tuesday in the last tennis match of the season to Northwestern College. In singles, the #1 Cougar, Rachel Hussey, dropped her match, while Carly Sieve, Morgan DeLange, and Julia Iverson all won their matches. Caitlin Vance and Danica Nash also fell short in their matches against Northwestern College. In doubles, the Red Raiders swept the Cougars in all matches. The Cougars finished their NCAA Division II provisional season with a record of 1-10. On the golf course, the USF men's team finished in 6th place in the NSIC Championship last Monday. The women's golf team finished in 6th place at the Augustana Spring Invitational on Sunday. Now on to football. The NFL Draft is next week, beginning with the first round on April 26th. The second and third rounds on the 27th, and rounds 4 through 7 on the 28th. The Indianapolis Colts have the first pick in the NFL Draft. Washington, Minnesota, Cleveland, and Tampa Bay round out the top 5. Quarterbacks Andrew Luck of Stanford and Robert Griffin of Baylor will likely be the top 2 picks, making it the first time since 1999 that the first 2 picks have been quarterbacks. Football season never sleeps. The University of Sioux Falls has already started spring practices. In preparation for their upcoming 2012 season, College Week sports reporter Sarah Benninger has an inside look at the team's practice.
The University of Sioux Falls football team is getting ready for their second year at the Division II level. Spring practices are underway, and there is a lot of excitement surrounding the program in its first year of postseason eligibility. Continuity will be a huge asset for the Cougars, who return starting quarterback Taylor Perkins this season. Head coach Jed Stugart says having Perkins in the fold will be a huge factor in their success.
Well, I think our leadership. I think we're pretty balanced offensively and defensively. I think the fact that we returned a quarterback from last year. That's the first time we've had a quarterback coming back into spring football. Every year we've had to bring one in, and so that's a big strength. That knowing that offensively we have that leadership there, and we return a lot of starters on defense. And so I think we're pretty balanced as far as the strengths go. We're losing a lot of good players, but we've got a lot of guys that had playing experience last year, and that keeps us pretty well balanced.
Even in last year's transition to a new level of football, the Cougars enjoyed great success. However, Coach Stugart says he is not looking to forecast his team's future.
I'm not one that makes a lot of predictions. I just know that we got to win game 1 against St. Cloud.
The Cougars spring game will take place Saturday, April 28th, where you can get a taste of what is going to come up this fall. For College Week Sports, I'm Sayer Bettinger.
All right, Jaden, you had an awesome interview. You got to sit down with Samuel Doima.
Yes, that was really fun. You had a lot to say.
Yes, he did. He's doing a great job for us. Next week, we have a little twist on Crosstalk, though, don't we?
Yes, we do. In fact, you will be sitting down with Cisa Cooper, just hearing about the new sculpture walk on campus, the history behind it, and what everyone thinks about it. So it'll be interesting.
I'm really excited to get an opportunity to interview someone. So.
Yeah, we'll look forward to that. And Sam, coming up in sports, we got the big NFL draft special on our show, The Fan Interference. What can you tell us about that?
Should be a great time. Got some NFL draft scouts like Matt Miller and Brandon Spano, right?
That's right. Should be an exciting show. And that wraps up another edition of USF College Week.
Have a great day.